Hi, welcome to your Superman news video for the week March 6th to March 12th, 2015. Our top news stories this week included our first look at Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. We have a look at the new costume or new look for Superman after Convergence. And Crypto is announced as the next champion in the Infinite Crisis video game. Let's check out these stories and more in this week's Speeding Bulletin. In movie news, Empire magazine recently asked fans to vote for their favourite superhero movies of all time, and now the votes have been counted and the results are in. Empire's 30 greatest superhero movies list saw 4 Superman movies make the grade, with Superman Returns coming in at 29, Man of Steel at 27, and high on the list are Superman the movie at number 5, while Superman 2 was voted as the number 3 best superhero movie of all time. Only X2 and The Dark Knight rated higher. In TV news, Warner Bros. Television released 2 photos of our first look at Melissa Benoist as Supergirl for the upcoming new TV series. The costume was designed by 3-time Oscar winner Colleen Atwood, who also served in the same capacity for Arrow and The Flash. I wrote an in-depth article examining in detail the Supergirl costume, which you can read on our website now. Overall, I'm quite impressed with the costume. I didn't expect them to go with what is a fairly classic look for Supergirl. A series of photos from the set of the pilot episode of the Supergirl TV series were posted online this week. From all appearances, it looks as though Kara wears glasses, much like Clark Kent does. Additionally, some of the photos show Kara Danvers crossing the road with fellow Catco colleague and her next-door neighbour, Winslow Schott, played by Jeremy Jordan. The Hollywood Reporter reveals that actress Melina Weissman has been cast to play the role of young Kara Zor-El in the TV series. Weissman, who is best known for playing the younger version of April in the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, will guest star in the pilot episode of Supergirl in what will most likely be a flashback to her early years on Krypton. Actor Farhan Tahir, best known for his roles in Iron Man and Star Trek, joins the cast of Supergirl, playing the role of an alien military expert. Tahir's character is said to be called the Commander, and he'll appear in the pilot episode, with the possibility of returning later in the series. In comic book news, a new DC All Access video gave us a conversation with Action Comics writer Greg Pak, who talks about Bizarro's involvement in this week's Action Comics number 40 and what fans can expect from the title after the 2-month Convergence event.
It is the most terrifying, horrifying, world-destroying story you could ever imagine. Lives will be crushed, hearts will be broken, the whole entire DC universe will crumble. But then again, it's a Bizarro story, so maybe it's the opposite of everything I just said.
Acclaimed cartoonist Gene Luen Yang has been tasked with the job of taking over the writing duties on the Superman comic book title, joining artist John Romita Jr. with issue number 41. The LA Times caught up with the pair via telephone for a chat to see what they have in store for the Man of Steel. Gene said, "I think at the core of Superman is the idea of the immigrant experience. His creators were 2 children of Jewish immigrants, and embedded in his origin story is this idea of negotiating between 2 cultures and trying to take 2 halves of himself and create something that's whole and unified." Both ComicVine.com and ComicBookResources.com grabbed time with Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok to talk to them about the Dark Side War, the upcoming story set to take place in the Justice League comic book title. John said, "Our goal in June is to make Justice League a character-driven event book. We want to make it as big as we possibly can." DC Comics co-publishers Jim Lee and Dan Didio explained via Newsarama.com what we can expect from the soft relaunch of the DC universe of comic books, and how the Free Comic Book Day offering titled Divergence will give us an 8-page preview of each of the 49 books that will follow in June and July. Dan Didio said, "People will get a chance to read these books, see the different styles of art, read the different types of stories, and see how we plan to interpret our characters in a new way." With Year 3 of Injustice Gods Among Us coming to a close, ComicVine caught up with writer Brian Bucciolato to ask him what he has planned for Year 4. He said there's a big old twist that we haven't seen in previous years, but I'm not going to say what it is. Also, it's a chance to see Greek mythological characters like Hermes, Zeus, and even Hercules. The big comic book news this week was the revelation that after the Convergence event, Superman will apparently be returning to the t-shirt and jeans look with a new look S shield as well. The new look S shield is a red S with a black background surrounded by a yellow outline on the outer edge of the shield. Additionally, Superman looks like he'll ditch the cape, which was part of his early t-shirt and jeans look when Grant Morrison relaunched Action Comics at the start of the New 52 line in 2011. Superman also appears to be sporting a new hairstyle. Comic books we reviewed this week included Injustice Year 3 Chapter 23, which was reviewed by T.A. Hewitt, who said the plod to the finish line continues with yet another lacking installment, and he rated this chapter a 2 out of 5. TA also reviewed last month's The Multiversity Mastermen #1, which he rated a 5 out of 5, saying Grant Morrison's The Multiversity has been solid reading issue after issue. Superman comics available this week from March 11th include Injustice Year 3 Chapter 24 digital comic has been available since March 10th, Action Comics number 40, Earth 2 World's End number 23, Injustice Gods Among Us Year 3 number 11 print edition, Justice League United number 10, New 52 Futures End number 45, Smallville Season 11 Continuity number 4 print edition, World's Finest number 32, Multiversity Guidebook number 1 second printing, Superman number 38 second printing, Batman Beyond Justice Lords Beyond trade paperback, Justice League Volume 5 Forever Heroes trade paperback, Tiny Titans Return to the Treehouse trade paperback, and Scooby-Doo and the Gang speed to Metropolis to help Superman in Scooby-Doo Team Up Chapter 17 digital comic, which is out now. Superman bookends look great on display while also keeping your books in place. Grab these great looking Superman bookends for just $38. Or how about a set of Batman and Superman bookends available for $86.85. These and other great Superman bookends are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. In other news, Warner Brothers Consumer Products and DC Entertainment are teaming up with fans to set a world record for the largest gathering of people dressed as DC Comics superheroes, held at multiple venues around the globe within 24 hours. The DC Comics Superhero World Record event, take place on April 18th, will kick off in Queensland, Australia, with a celebration at Movie World Australia theme park, and come to a commemorative close in Los Angeles in the USA at Hollywood and Highland. Follow hashtag DC World Record on Facebook and Twitter for more information. Crypto the Superdog has been announced as the next champion coming to Warner Brothers and Turbine's multiplayer online battle arena game Infinite Crisis. Players of the game will have the option to play in his ferocious looking New 52 form or a cuter, more cartoonish form. A Windows PC version of Infinite Crisis is currently in open beta stage and will be officially released on March 26th. The crew from How It Should Have Ended are back with another Super Cafe animated installment, with Superman and Batman chatting about reboots and why Hollywood seems to dislike superhero movies.
So, anything else going on?
Nope. That's pretty much everything, I think.
I'm gonna be in the universe! Did you hear? I'm gonna be in the universe!
Everybody is in the universe, you goof!
Not this universe! Woohoo! Marvel! Yeah! Reboot!
Well, he did just finish 2/3 of his last series. Seems like it's time for a reboot.
Oh, I hope it's not a reboot.
Why?
Because I'm so over reboots.
Check it out now in full at our website. And in a bit of an odd, if not creative story, snowed in during the brutal winter experience throughout the Northern Hemisphere, comic book fan Lou Nuwami, better known as the homemade game guru, was inspired by Justice League comic books to build his own Superman shovel out of cardboard. That's all the news there was for the week March 6th to March 12th. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Hello everyone, I'm coming to you live from the underwater world of Atlantis with talk of Aquaman. Star Jason Momoa, who's been cast in the upcoming Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice show. This is Great Scott, I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. Now, fans were all set at Twitter over a tweet that Zack Snyder tweeted out not too long ago. I'm a little behind on this one, but I had a lot to talk about in recent weeks, so I haven't gotten to this one yet. He tweeted out this picture of Jason Momoa, star from Game of Thrones, who is very tattooed and kind of grizzly looking with long hair and a long beard and kind of intimidating and a little bit scary looking. But this will be our Aquaman for the upcoming movie. Now, as with most of the DC modern superhero films, you can see the colors are toned down, but if you look closely, you can see the green and gold, and there even looks to be the A Aquaman symbol on the belt. There doesn't seem to be a ton of orange, although we'll have to see how that comes into play, if at all. Lots of fans are complaining that this doesn't look like anything like Aquaman that they know, as Aquaman has short blonde hair and orange shirt, green pants, and it looks very clean cut as opposed to having this beard and looking very scary. Now, the problem a lot of times with Aquaman and the portrayal of Aquaman is that many non-fans or people who don't really understand the Aquaman character think he's lame or goofy or not powerful or the guy who stays around to mop the floor after the Justice League go out on their adventures. And that's simply not true. If you look at the books, not just since the New 52, but the 90s, the 80s before that, Aquaman has a lot of power. He controls all of the oceans on Earth. He's the king of Atlantis, but he also can communicate with all of the undersea life. He has super strength. He has measured invulnerability. He is almost a physical match for Superman, as Zack Snyder has said. I'm a little disappointed that Zack has said that he's pretty sure Aquaman could lay Superman out if anybody could. That's another change of attitude from what we saw when Zack was saying that it was a joke to even ask if Batman could beat the Man of Steel, Henry Cavill's Superman, because it's Batman and we're talking about Superman. But now we're getting all these other characters in. We've already heard there's going to be a physical altercation between Batman and Superman, which I don't really understand how or why you'd want to take place. And now we've got Aquaman, who Zack is also saying could lay out Superman. So we've gone from the most powerful man on Earth, Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, Superman, to two more people in a new movie that are going to be able to lay him out. And Wonder Woman is also known as kind of a physical match for Superman. So Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. We know that there are so many other characters out there, and I guess they're going to introduce that every member of the Justice League would also be able to take out Superman. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to say is that I love this look. And I guess it's similar to people who don't like the change in Henry Cavill's uniform in these pictures above me. That the trunks are gone, that it's darker, that they're muting out the colors. That is their style, and that's what they do. I mean, the blue and red for Superman is still there, but it is different. And it's not traditional, and I can see how that can be a bother. I think for me, it comes on a case-by-case basis. If Superman's suit had been black with no red, if he didn't fly, as he was supposed to not fly in one of the earlier incarnations that were supposed to be coming to screen. If they really changed Lex Luthor and have him be an alien who's also from Krypton, who's here to track Superman or something like that. These are changes that are almost insurmountable for me, but some uniform changes that make it a little more real-world-ish or a little more intimidating or a little more scary, as in the case with this or a Batman, I think I'm okay with it. This also harkens back to the 90s Aquaman, who had the long hair and eventually lost his hand and had a hook and he had a beard and he was a little tougher, a little more grizzled looking. And this was all in an effort to make Aquaman cooler to the people who didn't really understand how cool he could be, due to mostly the Super Friends influence, where Aquaman was kind of a kiddie character. I don't think he was goofy on purpose. I just think he was a character that maybe was meant to connect more with kids because he talked to dolphins and, you know, that kind of thing. But even on Batman the Brave and the Bold, where he was used as a comedic character, it was clear he had a lot of power, a lot of influence, and a lot of strength. On the Justice League cartoon, they used the long-haired, grizzled Aquaman who eventually lost his hand, and he was cooler to people who were viewing. He was tough. He was badass. He knocked Superman down. Not necessarily meaning that he's better or bigger or stronger than Superman, but that he can match him in a battle and that it would be a fight. I think it's cool. I like Jason Momoa. I don't think he has really been shown to necessarily be a great actor. There hasn't been a lot of acting opportunity, although on Game of Thrones he was forced to use a language that doesn't exist and didn't speak any English, so he had to get across a lot of his emotions with his eyes, with his thoughts that you could see, with his actions. So that could be an indicator that he's also a pretty good actor. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing that Aquaman's going to have a somewhat minor role in this, a cameo at the end or a one-scene sort of thing where he either helps or introduces himself in a badass kind of way. But we'll see what happens with the movie. For now, I really like the look. I think it's indicative of the 90s look of Aquaman, even though he does have a dark beard and the dark hair. You do see some blondish strewn throughout. I'm not sure what the explanation is going to be for tough guy Aquaman to be dyeing his hair at a underwater salon or what, but there's green in the pants. I like the gold cuffs, and it's interesting how they incorporated some of his tattoos into the underwater design. I also heard people say I don't think underwater people would have tattoos. I'm not really sure why that would be the case, but they could also be, as opposed to tattoos, markings that their people have natively. I think Aquaman is supposed to be a crossover between human and Atlantean, though, so maybe they are tattoos. Who knows exactly what it is, but all kinds of tribes on planet Earth have tattoos. All kinds of, Polynesian, as Jason Momoa himself is, have these markings that they put on, traditional markings for their family, for their heritage, and it could be something like that in Atlantis. So there's no reason why he couldn't have traditional markings on himself from Atlantis or from whatever earthly world area his Earth side is from. We'll see how they explain it. I would guess not too much will be explained in the Batman v Superman movie, because there's just not going to be a lot of time for delving into each character when you're spending so much time on Batman and Superman. But I think the look's cool. I've always kind of liked Aquaman. He was kind of made fun of from the Super Friends cartoon, and lots of comedians continue to make fun of him because they don't really care, they don't really understand, they don't really know, and they don't care to know. It's a joke to them, and they're not that interested in Aquaman or superheroes in general. But Aquaman's got a lot of power and a lot of strength, and he has an awesome ability to be used in these movies coming in the future. There's all kinds of stories that feature Aquaman, who is clearly useful. He's no joke, everyone. Thanks for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky. Kaboom!